Here I will show my advanced big tank rig and why I call it advanced. When you select the big arrow here, it's basically the master controller. You can move forward and backward, and the tank treads, wheels and gears will move accordingly. You can rotate, and the opposite side will move in the reverse direction like it would in real life. We got a bunch of options here on the right side. You can turn off the engine, which basically stops the rotation of the treads, the gears and the wheels. All options are keyable that I made for the tank. As you can see, the tank has a pretty high poly count, which can be inconvenient in high poly scenes, so I made a low poly version. And you can see it has a dramatic effect on the poly count, which is easier for animations and performance wise. Everything you do in the high poly count is converted back to the low poly count. You can move the body forward and backward, and if you want you can drive like that as well. So you basically change the profile of the tank. You move it sideways, because it's a cartoon tank. I was like, why not? Maybe you could do it in real life, depends on how you build it. You can move the body up and down, and now it's like a low tank driver, which is pretty cool. And to show it's all back converted to the low poly, which is the low poly version is green, so you can immediately see in what state you are. Let's put it all back together. And now we have a target over here, and the target is for the turret to follow. There are no flipping issues whatsoever. You can go up and down and the cannon will follow the direction with a certain limitation, so it doesn't clip through the mesh. Now I got more controls on the target over here, which is deploy drill. And the reason why I put it on the target and not on the master controller is because I can move the target and the drills follow the turret. Now it doesn't look like much, but when I turn the engine of the drills on, and it's all automatic, no keyframes are needed, then you can see the drills going up and down with a bunch of options. Here you can see the speed that goes in that direction, which I have at 250 because I think that's a good value. Here you can see the speed of going up and down. If I put it at 0, you can see it doesn't go up and down. And if I put it at like 10, it just goes up and down. And here you can see how far it goes up and down. If I put it at 0, it stays at the top. Put it at 1, it goes a bit up and down. And if I put it at the highest, you can see how high it goes. It has limitations, so it can go all the way out of the drill holder on both sides. So it always looks correct. You can also move synchronization, so it looks more interesting in animation, so it doesn't all look the same. And you can move it back, and you can play with all these options. If you want, you can rotate the drill as well, and then you have a drill like that, and you can do it on the opposite as well. When you're done, you can basically collapse the drill. And those were the options of the master controller and the target. Now I will show you why I call it an advanced tank rig. I'll make a simple terrain. I'm making a plane and scaling it. Putting the subdivisions to 50 each. Now you can see these controls here on the side of the wheels, which are basically made for constraining to a terrain. So you select the terrain and you select the controller. You go to constrain and geometry constrain it. So instead of the wheels are floating into the air, it is constrained to the plane or the terrain. And you can do this for all the controls. And I just hit the G key to repeat, so I don't have to go back to the menu the whole time. I wanted to make a script for it so you don't have to do it manually, but now you can see the inner workings instead of just pressing a button and you see magic appears. And it just takes a few seconds. I watched certain rigging tank videos and I've seen that the wheels go up and down, and you can do that for every wheel, and then the chain follows as well. I don't have that because that wouldn't be realistic, because the chain is being pushed from the terrain. You can't move the chain itself. It doesn't make any sense. What I've done as well is research on tank dynamics, so that the wheels going up and down for other videos is pretty cool and nice and all, but the tank will stay flat. So when you have something in the way and the wheels only go up and down and the tank stay at the same height, it will never go across. With my tank, however, when you change the terrain, the tank just follows. No matter how high, no matter how low, it just follows. And to show this complex suspension system, I will open my groups. Here you can see how complex the whole rig is. It's all very neatly categorized. And you can basically select the target or the route, and you can just move over the terrain without any problem. And you can rotate as well. And of course we can make it low so it would move faster. Now to show a more interesting terrain, I made a video, one of the earlier versions I made for my rig. This was all for the suspension itself. First I had dynamics, but then I realized how unstable dynamics were in Maya. When you use the slider, the time slider in Maya, the whole rig just breaks. When you move the tank itself with the dynamics on it as well, and now you can move it in real time without any problems because there are no dynamics. Here you can see that the tank just follows the terrain. I animated the master control from right to left, and in between I just move the terrain to other positions. So it basically loops the tank, and then I just change the terrain. We're not gonna watch the whole video, but I'm gonna show some interesting terrains to show it can go pretty crazy, and the tank still has no problems with it. Let's see here. There we go. And here I just build a terrain, and it can go down as well. Alright, so that was the tank. Now I will show Houdini. Once you open my scene, running will get this pop-up, well, everyone will get this pop-up, but I made it for Ronnie so you can read what I did for the scene. And then you can click OK, and then the scene loads. It could take a while because it's a heavy scene. And once it is loaded, I will show you why I opened Houdini. There we go. Here you can see a tree. This looks very high poly count, but it's just 4000. I used my low poly tree generator for that. So here I got a bunch of options, and we'll go through each and every one of them. We start with these and try to make the UI as intuitive as possible. You can turn the display off, and then you basically only see the tree itself, the branches. Turn it back on. You can scale the leaves from center, and you can scale from point, which doesn't look all that different, but when you use expand and then you scale from point, then it makes all the difference. You can rotate. You can change the texture. You can color correct the texture. And then we go to branches. You can turn the branches off. And then you can basically make a bush from the tree, or you can just view what your leaves look like. You can also turn it to skeleton, which will show the tree structure, but it will make everything very smooth performance-wise. So as you probably noticed, it's a bit laggy when you change parameters over here, but when you change it to skeleton, there's no problem whatsoever. The generations is basically how old the tree is. The younger it is, the less branches, the older it is, more branches, more leaves. Pretty explanatory. The trunk height. The thickness, which you can see in skeleton, but when you turn it on, and let's turn off the leaves just so you can see it more clearly. You can see the thickness changes. Let's put the leaves back on. Then we have an angle top. Oh, let's put it back to skeleton, because that's better for performance wise. Then we have gravity, and you can see how drastically you can change the tree. Then you have a random seed value. We have a step size scale, which is basically when you have generations at 7 but the step size is very low, then the scale of everything is very low. And all controls in this tree are animatable, so you have very fine control, as you can see. You can bend the trunk. You have a thickness scale. I'll show that by turning up the leaves. You can have very fine branches over here. I'll turn the leaves back on. What else do we have over here? Let's put it back to skeleton though. You've got a bend height. So that's basically where you bend. We got a rotate Y, which is very convenient. We got a random scale, which scales all branches randomly. Now to make it more interesting without changing every parameter by hand and you just want something, you can randomize everything. All parameters are randomized. The leaf color option I have turned off by default, as you will get different colors for the leaves, and maybe you just want your default color like green leaves. When you change it, you can see how easy it is to just get a random tree. And it's all in real time, it's really fast. I have optimized a lot. Now I want to show the colors in the leaves as well. What else do we have? The poly optimization panel over here, which can be reached from either leaves or branches, so you don't have to switch back the whole time. When it's on, you will get a limit of the poly count you enter. And when you change the value, I had it when you change the value that it would be optimized immediately, but that would be very laggy, so now I built in a safety. When you change any slider, it turns back off. So it's a safety switch, you have to turn it back on when you want to export it. Yeah, you can enter like a value. I have 4000 here, but I got a tree over here that's just 500 polys, and it still looks good. And then you can export it like image tv, I get tree.obj, for instance. You can accept, hit save, and you're done. The tree is saved. Thanks for watching. I hope this rigging video was good enough. Bye.